Pokemon the trading card game can get wild sometimes, and there's some really awesome decks that I really enjoy seeing going through my Twitter or X timeline here that won a lot of tournaments. Now, these haven't won the big regional events in the Masters division like we have so many other content creators actually portraying on their channels, but these ones have won other tournaments and maybe in different divisions. So I really want to take this video and cover those lists and see what type of rogue lists are out there that maybe you might want to try as something different that could actually win a tournament at the Masters caliber. So we're going to go over those lists here in the video today. So stick around and check out everything that we have in store for you.
Want to support the Shuffle Squad? Be sure to check out all of our sponsors in the description to pick up Pokemon TCG singles, sealed, and PTCG live codes.
Now the first list in this video we're going to be covering is Owen Dalgard's Seniors winning Goodra list. Now this Goodra list is really cool. I love the Lost Zone engine for a lot of decks, but this one is a little bit different than what I've seen from past Lost Goodra lists. Obviously not playing the Arceus line because we are a Lost Zone deck, but looking at some of the supporters, we do have Iono in here, we have a few Boss. It plays very similar to how some of our Shuffle Squad Giratina lists have been playing. So we do see that there's 4 Comfies, we've got the 2/2 Goodra line, we do have Zamazenta that can actually pump out 220 damage if a Pokemon was knocked out the prior turn, so still able to swing into Pokemon here with a single prize attacker. Still got the Cramorant, and we still see Sableye in this list. So if you can notice over underneath my head here, we see that there are 2 Psychic Energies in the list, and now adding Jet Energy, which was something that we didn't really see in older Goodra lists of formats past. We have Jet Energy in here now to allow you to pivot a little bit easier. Obviously with those Comfies, we don't have Scoop Up Net anymore in the format, so being able to rotate a little bit easier might be the way. Now, we also see Spiritomb in this list of Pokemon hiding behind the Manaphy and the Radiant Greninja down at the bottom. And I think that that's really good into this meta right now because DTE Mew is fantastic. So having just that Spiritomb in the deck can just counter those DTE Mews from being able to set up at all, as long as you're able to get it set up and your opponent doesn't use Grabber on you. So I really enjoy that in the list. Now we also see Artisan in this list too. So Artisan able to grab out those single prize Pokemon that don't have rule boxes. Sorry Greninja, we can't get you. But as long as you're able to set up your Comfies in this list, I think you're doing just fine. And we do see the 4 Battle VIPs and the 3 of the Nest Ball here. So my apologies, it's not 3 Nest Ball. We're doing this on the fly, everybody. But there's 1 Nest Ball and there's 2 Ultra Balls, obviously able to find those Goodras when you do need them and slap those down. So we do have 2 Ultra Balls and 1 of Nest Ball. Now, if we look here, there are 3 Super Rods in this list, and I've been liking 3 Super Rods in my Giratina list as well, so I think that maybe that's the wave. There's 3 Ropes. 3 Ropes seem pretty good, but you just don't want to reset your Goodra from tanking the 80 less damage in this list, so I think that the Ropes seem kind of funny, so we'll have to play around with that. Another thing I did notice in the item list is that there's 2 Pokegears, so able to find those Colress a little bit easier. I know Goodra was a little bit slower of a deck, but being able to find the Goodras a little bit faster than you would, or I'm sorry, the Colress a little bit faster than you would, I think that that's really good. And 1 Lost Vacuum to just up the ante here to maybe get you to that 7 in the Lost Zone a little bit quicker so your Mirage Gates are live. I really like that. I do like the 1 of Raihan here. That seems very good. No Roxanne makes me cry a little inside, but aside from that, I think the list is pretty well rounded. You have to think hitting into Charizard, tanking that 80 damage is really good, and then pivoting out, maybe hitting another Charizard or something on the bench with the Ropes here could also put you in a really great spot. You still have your V-Star ability that you can just wipe the damage off of a Goodra. Maybe you're just trying to hit into a couple of Charizards in this matchup. Another great thing that you're hitting into is Miraidon. I mean, this deck is fantastic because you can just tank the hits against Miraidon. Zamazenta can take a one-hit knockout on a lot of the V or EX Pokemon that they play. So I think this list is really well-rounded, and I definitely would love to give it a try. I know that a couple of people have been having success in online tournaments, so if you do like this list, you know, take a screenshot here. You can check out Owen's Twitter or X, and you'll be able to get this image as well, so you can create this deck for yourself. Now here we have a list from the side event. This is the winning list from the side event by the username on Twitter or X, rlysnow, or at least I'm pronouncing it that way, so my apologies if it is pronounced incorrectly. But this is a control list, and I've been hyping up control going into Sacramento and also into these other events here this season. I really think control might be in a decent enough spot that it can actually work. So here we see this full control list with Bouffalant up at the top. Now Bouffalant has a 3 energy attack that puts energy into the loss zone from your opponent's Pokemon, so I think that that's really good. Then we have the Yveltal for those Lugia decks out there. We're able to just discard energy on the field. We can discard up to 3 special energy with Yveltal, so that's really great here, and I enjoy using that against Lugia and Mew DTE just to wipe their board of their energy cards. So I think that those cards together are really great. Even the Bouffalant into a Giratina, just getting rid of maybe the grass energy off of them, putting it into the loss zone is really detrimental and really sets the deck behind. Then we have the Mimikyu. So if any of the Pokemon that are hitting into you don't have Shred, i.e. Miraidon, you just put a Mimikyu up in the active, let them kind of boss around it, and then you're just leaving the Mimikyu in the active. If your opponent has evolved in all of their Charizard EXs, they can't hit through Mimikyu. They don't have Shred, so there's no way of getting around that. So I think the 2 Mimikyu here is really cute. It does have a lot of niche win conditions that your opponent can't get around, and then you're able to hopefully loop some other things later on. Speaking of looping, we do have the Regieleki in here. So Regieleki able to put a trainer card back into your hand with its attack for 1 energy, so that's really good. Rotom here, not only able to draw you cards with the ability, gets to draw an extra 3 and ends your turn, but it is good to attach for a Seal Stone, which we do see on the other side of the list here under my head. So that is another really good trait of the V Pokemon. We do have Miltank, similar idea as Mimikyu, just tanking, but this one hits a little bit harder with a double turbo energy. So there are 4 double turbo energies in this list, which are right above the jet energy, but I'm sorry, to fit this whole picture in here at a decent quality, we do have to cut that off a little bit. So just so you know, I can kind of move the picture down here on the video so you can see that. So there's 4 double turbo, and there's 2 lucky energies in here, but we're just going to put this back up so you can see it. But again, if you go over and check out rlysnow, you'll be able to see this full picture in view as I'm talking about it. But we see Indeedee here in the list. Now Indeedee does hit harder based on the amount of cards in hand. So if you're looking at just getting something off the field so you can pave your way through for another Mimikyu, that's a great attacker too. Speaking of paving your way through, if there's only Sableye able to attack in your opponent's deck, you can put down a Snorlax here. Obviously, the Unfazed Fat is where you're going to want to be thinking about this card, so you can knock those attackers off the board and just pave your way for some of the other attackers in this control list to make their way. We do have the Ditto from Pokemon Go here too, which is able to copy some of these other attacks, which could be really, really good in a lot of lists. We have a Mawile here, so able to just stall out if your opponent's playing Gardevoir and they put down the Greninja or the Manaphy, you're able to get that up in front, and it's really doing a lot of damage. Now, we do see the Radiant Serena here. Obviously, if Sableye is doing some work, putting some damage, or maybe it's just one of your other Pokemon are getting chipped away at, we have the Rad Serena, and that's able to remove those damage counters, as we know in a lot of other single strike Lugia builds of the past as well. Now the stadium count's pretty cool here. We do get the Stormy Mountains that we can get either our Rotom or our Regieleki with, but your opponent can use that if they're playing some dragon cards, so you do have to be aware of that. Now, Artisan obviously able to get most of the Pokemon other than Rotom and Radiant Serena in this list, and then Town Store to get one of our tool cards. So we do see Panic Mask. That's really good here if you're able to hit into a Pokemon, put down Panic Mask, and just chill for the rest of the game because they can't hit you with their big giant Pokemon. That is also really cool. I think that we have quite a bit of one-ofs in the trainer line. So we do have 2 Pennies and 2 Giovanni's Charisma, which is able to attach energy and then remove energy from your opponent. But 1 Erica's Invitation here, if we're looking at the one-ofs. 1 Arven. Erica's is basically a boss, but it does it from hand. So if your opponent has a basic Pokemon, you get to put it on their bench and bring it active. Really good gust effect in especially Gardevoir if they're holding that Manaphy or Greninja in hand and then they don't want to put it down on the field. Obviously you can take advantage of that with Mawile. Those are really good. A Peonia, in case you have a piece missing to actually control the board state, you're able to look at those cards in your prizes and swap some things out. Colress is just a great draw card, and thinning your deck a little bit to put things in the Lost Zone is still very good in this format. And then we have Zinnia's Resolve, able to draw a bunch of cards as long as your opponent has a huge board state, so you get to discard some fodder from your hand and draw a whole bunch of cards. Now we do have the Acerola's Premonition is what that card is back there, so that's a really cool card. We'll get into on another video here. But we do have Silene, we do have Team Yell's Cheer, so you're putting trainers or Pokemon back in your deck. Silene obviously able to flip and put cards back in, so now you're putting cards back into your deck. You're controlling the board state a little bit more. Boss's Orders, we all know what that does. We do have 2 of Psychic Energy, and I think that that's for the Mimikyu, obviously in combination with Panic Mask. If we're able to hit into Pokemon with Mimikyu and then throw a Panic Mask on something else that maybe that Pokemon can hit into, it's still really good. Palpad, obviously the recycle factor here. Pokemon Catcher, Crushing Hammer, some of my favorite flippy cards, really able to control the board state. Fighting a lot is able to remove the damage counters. Think of it as a potion. We do have Bravery Charms on this list too, so another tool that we could use with Town Store. Trekking Shoes is obviously able to just siphon through the deck, and then we have a couple of the Nest Balls here. We've got 4 Nest Balls in this list as well. So I think that the control list here is really well rounded out, and if you love control, this is definitely a list for you to attempt to try. But I really enjoyed this whole list, so give it a try. Go to the Twitter, take a screenshot here, or follow along with the video and you'll be able to try it out for yourself. And that was 2 awesome rogue lists that not only won a regional in the senior division, but also won that side event at the regional event. So really high caliber players that these players were playing against. I know alliteration there, but I really enjoy these type of lists. I love having the gotcha cards in lists, and obviously being able to control the board state is really fun for me. I don't know if you're that type of player, but I think that these lists can do really well, especially, Goodra might not be as controlly of a list, but it's still annoying to tank those hits and then still be able to pound your opponent into the ground with 200 damage every single turn. So I really like how both of these lists play out. Give them a try. If you wanted to try something different in the meta that you don't see winning the Masters divisions or maybe winning these limitless tournaments, definitely something to consider for the events coming up for sure. And if you do enjoy the content that we bring you here on the channel, please be sure to like, subscribe, share this video with a friend, let them know that there are control lists out there, and this is some of the best lists around. So we will catch you in the next video here on the Shuffle Squad. This is PJ signing off. See you later.
Hey trainers, tired of having too many cards lying around? I know that feeling, and I know what a hassle it is to try and sell those cards. But selling bulk is now easier than ever with TCG Bulk. Find tons of potential buyers in a single place. You just download the app, look for the best buyer near you, and carefully pack your bulk, ship it, and you get paid. It really is that simple. Turn the cards you don't want into the cards you absolutely need for your next deck. You made it to the end. Thank you so much for watching this entire video from the Shuffle Squad. Honestly, from the bottom of our hearts, we appreciate each and every person that supports our content, watches what we have going on every single day, every single week, even from time to time, and continuously allows us to have a forum to project our creative content towards the Pokemon TCG community. So if you haven't already, be sure to give this video a like, subscribe to the channel, and even leave a comment to help boost the YouTube algorithm. That being said, we'll catch you with our next video. Thanks again. Take it easy.